Is it even a good time to invest in real estate right now? If that's not on everybody's mind, then I don't know what is, because with the uncertainty going on in the world, north and south of the border, that is probably the number one thing on everybody's mind. So we have tailored tonight's conversation around what's going on and how you can make the best of what's going on. Where do I even start? Most people get stuck in paralysis by analysis, and you've had your eye on real estate for 10 or 20 or 30 years or 30 days, whatever it is, you don't even know where to start. We're going to hit that up today, show you exactly where to start. How do I fund my first deal? So we're going to talk about how to fund the first deal. And the other thing that came up is I'm afraid of making a costly mistake, especially my Canadian friends on here. As Canadians, we are more interested in not losing than we are at winning, right? It's called the loss aversion. The science of loss aversion. So you're all thinking like, okay, it's great to earn returns, but how do I actually not make a mistake, not lose money? Because one mistake in real estate could cost you 10, 20, $30,000. And so we're here to make sure you don't make those costly mistakes. So those are the things that we're going to hit up right now. And we're going to talk about those with our two amazing speakers tonight. We've got Scott McGillivray here. We've got Stephen Libman here. We've got myself, Michael Sarracini. And we're going to make it happen here for you tonight. So hey, there's Scott. Scott, give us a wave.
How's it going, Michael?
Scott's here, and there's Stephen here. Excellent. So we've been working, Scott and Stephen and I have been working with thousands of real estate investors over the last 15 plus years. At Keyspire, we've had over 10,000 people come to our 3-day workshop. We have run over 5,000 coaching years of our coaches coaching people for a year. And we've run well over 5,000 strategy sessions. In that time, we've learned a few things. We've learned really what you need at what stage. And we've used that information and that data over 15 years to craft what I truly believe is the world's greatest program when it comes to bringing someone from where do I even start to how do I become successful in real estate. And so tonight we're going to show you that roadmap, and we're going to get your pen and papers out because we're going to start filling in that roadmap for you. And this roadmap continues to build. I remember when I started, no roadmap, uncertainty, no confidence. I got my first deal done, but I got to tell you, man, it was hard to get that first deal done. It took more time and more effort and more risk than it has to take. But what I can tell you is every mistake I made along the way, I recorded it in a journal or just a piece of paper. I recorded it. Scott and I had that journey together when we were broke college students 25 years ago. Recorded everything that worked, recorded everything that didn't work. And I did the simplest system on the planet. I just repeated the things that worked and I stopped doing the things that didn't. And now over 25 years, over 10,000 3-day workshops, 5,000 coaching years, and 5,000 strategy sessions, we have dialed in everything that works, everything that doesn't work, and we're about to get that journey started with you today. This is a workshop test drive, so we are giving you content right from our 3-day workshop. If you're here, you're probably interested in our 3-day workshop. You might have been seeing it come through emails or online and heard people talk about it. What is this 3-day workshop? What do we teach? How does it work? That's what we're going to walk you through today, so you get a really good understanding. You can essentially try before you buy. I was telling Scott and Stephen this earlier this week. I said, it's like test driving a car. Like you probably wouldn't go out and buy a car without test driving it. Some people would, but I like to test drive the car before you make that investment. Well, picture this like test driving the car. You are test driving Keyspire systems, Keyspire's education. You are test driving what Keyspire can do for you before you invest in our workshop, before you invest in coaching or any of our live events, because we do so many great things as a company. We've done this for so long. So that's what we're looking to do here today with you, is to give you value, test drive what we do. Now it's time to grab your notebook, silence your distractions. We're going to take some notes. You are going to have aha moments tonight. We're going to ask you over the course of the evening to pop those in the chat because we want to share the aha moments of all the great people here. And we want to live in a world of abundance and not scarcity. When we learn something, when we have something, if we can share it with our community, then we're all better off than if we just hoard it and keep it to ourselves. Because then the community shares with you. And I can tell you this by having over 2,200 inner circle members in our community. The amount of sharing that goes on is absolutely amazing on how it builds people's business. So hi, everyone in the chat. I see you there. You can continue in the chat. I'm going to pop back and forth. So I can continue here. Now let me get some slides started here. Let me get some slides. Okay. Stephen and Scott, you guys can pop off for a second while I get us set up for the event, and then I'll call Stephen up.
Sounds good. Looking forward to getting to my session. So we'll see everyone soon.
Beauty. All right. We'll save some time. Should we save some time for Scott? We'll definitely save some time for Scott. Scott is going to walk through the $1 million plan, something that we've helped countless clients and members through. The first time we presented the $1 million plan was about 12 or 13 years ago. And it's absolutely amazing that it just gets better every single day. It stands the test of time. So I'm going to share here. Let me see how I'm going to share with you guys. Okay, so time to share my screen and get us all set up. All right, here we go. Can we see my screen? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. All right, this is our workshop test drive. Here's our agenda for the evening. We're going to address your number one question. We are going to walk you through the Keyspire Results Roadmap so you can start getting traction tonight and you can start taking notes and getting clear about your next steps as early as tonight. We're going to give you the 3 tactics. So this is getting really tactical, things that you can actually do to get quick cash in 2026. Because long-term wealth is really important. And that's really the brand of Keyspire, is teaching you long-term wealth, buy and hold. But we also understand that today in this market, you need money. You need to get paid. You need cash flow. You need cash. And so we're really focusing on helping you have that short-term cash in 2026 to build that long-term wealth. And we're going to give you the Keyspire $1 million plan that you can follow. Plus, we're going to announce the new workshop date for those of you that want to continue your journey with us and learn more and fill in this roadmap even more. We're going to show you the new workshop date, and we got free gifts for attending. You are here. You've taken action. Keyspire, we reward action takers. So because you are here live, there might be a recording in the future of this, but because you are here live, you are going to get the live free gifts. So here we go. Let's talk about the free gifts. Number one, you're going to get your team builder guide. I'm going to do a little training of this at the end, but this is really the guide that you're going to get. It's a nice book, and you are going to know exactly what team members to build in what order, what to ask them, what to look for, how much you should pay. It is an absolutely critical starting point. In fact, do not start real estate without this guide right here. This is absolutely critical for you. Number 2, strategy sessions. We asked you on the way in, do you want to strategy sessions? $290 to get a strategy, $297, and it's worth every penny to get a strategy session. Almost half of you said, "Yeah, I'll take it for $297." Well, I'm going to show you how you get one for free tonight. Just put in the chat. I want to just see who's interested in a free strategy session. Would you like a free strategy session to go through your roadmap and identify your exact next step? I'm seeing some hands up, and I'm going to pull up my chat here. Yes, I see the chat blowing up. Yeah, let's participate. Let's make it happen. If you tell the world what you're looking for, you're more likely to get it. So there we go. Dominique, Barry, ZP, Jane, Isabel, I see you all, Wendy. Yeah, so I'm going to show you how you're going to get, actually, I'm going to ask, Scott's going to show you how you're going to get a free strategy session. One of us will show you. Either way, you're going to learn how you're getting a free strategy session. Plus the other thing, I have another little, Scott and Stephen, I didn't even tell you this. The team recommended this when I left the office today. They said, why don't we give them some other stuff? I said, I love giving people free stuff. We're also going to show you how you get this for free. OPM is other people's money and profitable partnerships. This is a special report that Scott and I wrote on how to get other people's money and how to create profitable partnerships. It is easy to understand. If you're in grade 4, you can understand this. It is not complicated, but you need to get your hands on this special report. I'm going to show you how you can get this absolutely free. Tonight, you're going to get this for free. So we're going to train you first. We're going to add value. And then we have all the gifts. They're going to rain down. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see what's next here. So here's our main question, everyone. Here's our main question. Is now a good time to invest in real estate? Just give me some feedback in the chat. Like, who's thinking this? Like, is it a good time? This isn't, 2015, 2016, anytime to the 2010s where it seems like it was a good time. Is this a good time to invest? People are saying yes, yeah. So I mean, we got the right crew here, but a lot of you are still worried about this. So one of the things that we want to do is show you the ups and downs of the real estate market and how every time is a good time to invest if you have the right strategy. So I'm going to move this over here. So I want to show you real examples of people in our community that have been to the 3-day workshop that are investing today in the last 60 days, how people are making money right now. Because Michael and Scott and Stephen, we've been doing this for 20 years, 20 plus years. So you might not think that you can do what we're doing, but I want you to know you can do this because other people just like you are doing it. So here's Colin, September 18th, not even 2 months ago. Colin had a big win. They closed on schedule for a project in, I'm going to move my chat here, in Nova Scotia. The timeline is met. It's a result of a cohesive, experienced group that knows how to execute. That's the team builder guide. We want you to have an experienced group that knows how to execute, so you're closing on a project. They're giving 12 families a place to proudly call their own. So not only are they putting money in their pocket, but they are also providing value for other people. And that's really how you make money today, providing value for other people. 12 unit, just closed on it. Big win, Colin. Congratulations if you're watching. This is absolutely awesome. Today, this is what people are doing, September 18th. Now, I should do a little disclaimer here. These results are not typical, okay? These aren't typical results. If you go out there and you go out in the marketplace, you talk to someone at your kid's soccer game or at a cocktail party, this will not typically happen. You have to be educated. You have to have a system. You have to go through a process to have results that are consistent and desirable. So I want to start by saying, I'm going to show you 5 or 6 non-typical results. These are people that have been to our 3-day workshop. We have Linda, October 7th. So what is that? Just over a month ago. Sold to the tenant buyer, closing November 1st. Look down here, with seller financing, $950 a month over 30 years. Wouldn't it be nice to not have to go to the bank and have the seller finance it? Wouldn't it be nice to know how to use other people's money? So you're going to learn that. You're going to learn that with this special report I'm going to give you for free. And you're going to learn that at the 3-day workshop. We'll touch on a little bit today. But these are the things that people are doing right now. This was just over a month ago, October 8th. Robert, big milestone, 18 unit in Southern Alberta. The rent increases are rolling out and leases are being renewed. The property's performance keeps improving month after month. How nice would it be to have a business that just keeps getting better in a market where everybody is scared? Month after month, Robert's making more money when everybody else is telling you that real estate isn't a good investment. Why? What does Robert have? Does anybody know? Put in the chat. What does Robert have that's different than maybe everybody else out there that is not Robert? What does Robert have different than maybe the person at the bus stop or at the cocktail party? Anyone know what Robert might have that gets some different results? Yeah, team, vision, knowledge. Yeah, knowledge, education, and system. System is the word I want to tell you. Systemize step by step. That's what Robert has. And that's what I want you to have. We're starting that tonight. Jason, 12 units. This is his 3rd acquisition in the United States as a Canadian. And he's got 96 doors now. He says, always invest in different baskets. We're now collecting rent in US dollars. And I love the performance-based metric at the bottom. The building is underperforming with low rents. It's already generating solid income. Our plan is to grow the gross operating income. If you don't know what GOI is, don't worry. You'll learn that at the workshop. Is to grow the GOI from 100K to 130 within 2 years. How nice would it be to give yourself a raise of 30 grand? Does anyone like to just decide they're getting a raise? Who wants to decide they're getting a raise and who wants to wait for their boss to decide, or the economy or the president or politics or prime minister or whatever it is? I know I'd like to control my own raise. And if you would, heck yeah, says Erica, absolutely. With real estate, you can have control to control your income, to control your future. Let's go. Let's go, Rema. What are some other examples? I'm showing you what's possible, guys. And then we're going to show you, we're going to get into the why and the how. October 21st, a few weeks ago, Herman, closing on his triple. Anyone heard of a triple? It's 3 triplexes, so 9 units. He goes to break down the units, but I really like this last statement. This really makes me feel like we're making our impact on the world. This marks another exciting step forward in our investment journey. I want to extend my sincere thanks to everyone in the Keyspire family. That he's been in it for 8 years. Herman's been with us for 8 years, just always growing. The shared knowledge, experience, and encouragement here has been instrumental in helping reach this milestone. Your insights continue to make this community such a valuable space for all investors in all stages. Thank you, Herman, for sharing. Absolutely. Again, not typical results. This isn't typical of out there, but when you have a system, you're more likely to get desirable, consistent results. And that's what we want for you. That's why we're spending our evening here with you. I think we've got one more. Stephanie, says, we've closed on a 3-family house in New Jersey. At the bottom, it says, I say we're very happy. The house is good floor plan, good location, has been fully renovated a few years ago. Stephanie's a wonderful woman. She's been with us for so many years. I know her personally. I get to see these people at the events, Scott and Stephen. We get to see all of our Keyspire members at the events. And I just love how she led with, I'll say that we're very happy. Like, she's not talking about the money, although that's important, but really, what do you guys want the money to give you? You want to be happy, right? You want to be happy with what you're doing every single day. So I love how Stephanie leads with, look, we're happy. This is great. We're living the life we love, because that's our mission here at Keyspire. So that's what we're talking about. Is now a good time to invest? So I want you to think, after seeing that, is now a good time to invest? Well, there's a few things that you need to put in place, and you might want to write some of these down. You need to have strategy. You need to know the strategy and the math. The math is not complicated. You just have to know how to do it. It's like raking leaves. You just got to know it. Someone's got to show you once and you can figure it out. You need to know funding and financing. You need to understand analysis and execution, the team and the operations, and then there's timeless tactics like flip to yourself, multifamily, development, pre-construction. These are the things that you're going to need in your system to have the confidence to make progress in today's market. In an easy market, everyone looks like a genius. But in a market like today, something really interesting happens. There's 10 times the opportunity in a market like today. When I say opportunity, I mean to make money, right? So what we want to do is to be profitable, to build wealth. There's 10 times the opportunity, but here's the rub, because you never get something for nothing. There's 10 times, there's 10 times less the margin of error. So you really don't want to make an error in today's market. In today's market, it is even more important than ever that you know step by step what to do. What happens first, what happens second. If you can do that, the path is great. The pot of gold is nice at the end of today's market, but the path is thinner, it's windier, and it's got more hazards along the way than maybe 10 years ago. So that's where the roadmap comes in. This is the 5 stages to the roadmap. This is how you buy a property today. This is how you bought a property 20 years ago. It's how you buy a property in 20 years. This is all across the world. It goes through these 5 steps. So start writing these down, okay? Step 1 is fund. Before you do any of the other stuff, let's talk about fund. How are you going to fund the property? And that's one of the things that came up today, so that's good. Then you got to know how to find the property. What markets to look in? What type of properties to look at? How do you even analyze it? Then how do we buy the property? How do we do the transaction? Negotiations? What type of clauses do we put in? How do we do a double offer? How do we do a red herring in our offer? How do we have techniques in order to get the best buy? It's just a checklist. It's not rocket science. You just have to have the checklist. And then value. How do we add value? Guess what? In business, you don't make money unless you add value. Okay, maybe if you're a crypto investor, but that only lasts so long until it collapses. In real business, you have to add value for people. And so how do we add value in real estate? There's a whole checklist to go through on how to add value. And then our favorite part as business people is to get paid. How do you get paid? And we have getting paid strategies. The 3 big ones are the buy and hold, the flip to yourself, and then getting rented, first and last month's rental checks. So when we take what we need to know and we superimpose it here, we can see that we're going to learn funding and financing with the roadmap. We are going to learn the strategies and the math and how to find properties. We're going to have the team to help us buy properties. You don't have to know all this yourself. In fact, please don't try and learn it all yourself, or do it all yourself, I should say. You need a team to help you. So we're going to show you that. That starts with the team builder guide tonight. How to create value analysis, cash flow analysis, and of course, how to get paid. So this is what we're starting tonight. We are starting. Don wants to know about flip to yourself. Absolutely. We are going to start with the roadmap tonight. We're going to start with the 3 quick cash strategies. So we're going to get tactical. And then we're going to go high level and say, what's our 10-year multi-million-dollar plan? So you can see both ends of the spectrum of how this roadmap works. All right. And then you're going to fill in all the pieces in the roadmap. And then if you want to join the workshop, I'm going to show you the new date. We just launched a new date. And I'm going to show you what the new date is and the price and how all of that works, the investment for the workshop. So you're going to see that. But we want to train you first. We want to give you the value first. So let's do that. And then we'll show you the other great stuff. So to give you the value, I'm going to move over this. This is the 5 stages of the roadmap. This is all in the next steps. Okay, so to talk about the 5 stages of the roadmap, I want to introduce up to the stage here our 3-day workshop trainer, Stephen Libman. Scott and I have known Stephen for over a decade. Stephen has done countless workshops for us, countless live events, webinars, in-person events. You can see he's got so many testimonials. Kathy says, a massive group just finished an iconic 3-day workshop. Stephen Libman, you were on fire. Stephen, I don't know if you've seen this before. You were on fire, and after 3 days, you still are giving us new investing members a ton of value. Thank you, thank you. I'm literally jumping out of my skin to want to get started. So let's get people jumping out of their skin. Stephen Libman, thank you for joining us on this evening. This cold, cold evening. We are going to warm it up, jump out of our skin. Over to you, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks, Michael. It's great to be here as well. And gee, what can I actually say? Michael, if you want to just kill the share, there we go. So yeah, let me just pick up on a couple of things that was mentioned before I go into the tactical side, which I love, and you know how much I love the tactical side. I wrote a couple of notes from some of the things that you said. You know, the biggest fear that people tell me, and I totally agree with them, is the fear of losing money. How many of you can relate to that, or how many of you agree with my greatest fear in real estate or investing is losing money? Give me a thumbs up or in the chat. Let me know, because I really want your feedback. I want other people to see that that's a pretty common fear. Okay. And as you're doing that, I want you to think about the following. Listen very carefully. When you don't invest, you're already losing money. Well, what do you mean, Stephen? How am I already losing money? It's really simple. If you're sitting on $100,000 and you're earning 1% in the bank, it's going to take you 72 years to double your money. That's called the rule of 72. But what's worse than that is inflation is already more than the amount that the bank is paying you. And what the bank is paying you is already subject to tax. And you say, okay, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go buy a GIC. And I'm going to go get myself 3% on a GIC. Well, congratulations, you're still losing money. Whatever you believe inflation to be, whatever you are subject to in taxes, that's coming off of your earned income no matter how you look at life. So the very thing that you're worried about, i.e. losing money, is exactly the thing that's happening because you're not getting out of the chair and going and investing. Now, I'm sure some of you are saying, yes, but what if I lose a ton of money? Well, you know what? If you're the type of person that's worried about using your own money, just use somebody else's. Now, I don't mean you should go lose their money, but understand that there are lenders out there that are not going to loan you money if the deal is not a good deal. And so you're totally protected at whatever level. But here's the best part. In just a moment, I'm going to show you how you don't even have to use any of your own money and how we reduce or eliminate the perceptible risk of our own money. Now, I'll drive that home in a moment, but I want you all to write this down. Money moves or it dies. Money moves or it dies. If it's sitting, stagnating in your bank account, it's not doing anybody any good. All right, I have a limited amount of time today, so I'm going to jump right in and share with you exactly what are these three tactics. What are the three tactics of making money in 2025, 2026, whenever it is that you are looking to make your money? So the first thing I want you to think about is these are all quick cash. And what do I mean by quick cash is I mean that these are things that you can do quickly to generate quick revenue. Now, you might be wondering, okay, one is to facilitate deals for other people. The other is to flip properties to an investor. And the third is to flip the contract to an investor. Those are three ways to make quick cash. But I do want you to write this down before we go any further. This is critically important for each and every one of you. So write this down. It's on the screen. It's in red for a reason. And it says, we buy and sell so we can buy and hold. Does that make sense to any of you? We buy and sell so we can buy and hold. You will never get rich flipping properties. I don't care what you're going to watch on TV. It doesn't make a difference to me. I've been doing this for over 20 years in the real world. We buy and sell so we can buy and hold. It is that simple. So let's say you were in debt. So you're going to buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, get out of debt. Let's say you want to go do your first deal. Well, great. You don't have the money. Buy and sell, go do your first deal. So we buy and sell so that we can buy and hold. Now, eventually, when you buy and hold, somebody was talking about flip to yourself. I don't have the time to go into the tactic on the strategy on flip to yourself, but that's exactly what we do is we flip the property back to ourselves. And so we refinance and hold the property long term. And this way we can flip and hold all at the same time. Okay. Of course, as always, the clock will win. So let's jump into who are the players in this world of quick opportunities. Number one is the motivated seller. Somebody or some entity, including banks, including mortgage companies, etc., people or entities that are motivated to sell the property. The investor is the person that is going to take the lion's share of the risk and responsibilities. The facilitator or the flipper, which in this example, if I was teaching you in the workshop, this would be you. Now, you could be the investor sometimes, and you could be the facilitator another time. Regardless, I'm showing you what happens when you want to get started with very little, if anything at all. As long as you have the drive to be successful, you don't actually need your money to do this, but you will need a team, and that's critically important as well. Let's do a very simple calculation, just so we're all on the same page. Let's assume for this math example, remember Michael said the math is pretty straightforward. By the way, it really is. You've got an original sale price of $270,000. You've estimated professionally, and we'll get into that in the actual workshop, but we've estimated the repair costs. Oh, and one little word about repair costs. Would any of you like to learn a way to make sure that your repair costs stay at or below budget, and the time frame is at or below the number of days or weeks or months that you thought it was? Everything has a system, no matter what it is. But let's continue. You have $270,000 sale price. $40,000 is going to be your closing costs, and your repair costs. $10,000 is going to be your closing and holding costs. So you're all in for $320,000. Now, I'm telling you, this is an example of an investor writing a check for $320,000, and we're going to figure out whether that's a good deal for the investor. So we've already run the comparable sales for recently sold similar properties in the neighborhood, and we've come up with an after repair value, once the property is fixed up, of $400,000. Simple math, you've got an $80,000 anticipated profit. So I'm going to ask you to put on your investor hat right now and answer the following question. If I wrote a check for $320,000, am I okay with a 25% return on that money if it took an entire year to do it? Yes or no? And I'm watching the chat for your answers. I'm watching for your reactions. Does it make sense for most investors that 25% is not what most people get, and they would be thrilled with a 25% rate of return? Now, please understand that $40,000 rehab does not take an entire year. So what if you did this and recycled your money twice? What's your annual rate of return if you did one of the deals in the first 6 months and you did a second deal with the same money in the second 6 months? Put that in the chat for me. What's your rate of return now? If 25% is made in one deal, there we go. Jajana, yes, there we go. There's the numbers coming up. 50% rate of return. Now, I don't know if you can do 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these in a year. 1 is fantastic. 2 is incredible. 3 is outstanding. And 4, you can't even brag to people you just made 100% because they simply won't believe you. Now, here's the question. Would somebody able to do this, making $80,000, be willing to give you or me a little bit of that $80,000 because we found the deal, we put the property under contract, we ran the numbers, and we simply showed them the opportunity, and they're simply saying thank you by giving us a small portion of that $80,000. Does that make sense? the guideline that I like to share with people is you can negotiate anything, but would it make sense that somebody might say, you know what, if I don't have to do any of the work, I'm willing to give somebody 10% of my potential profit. In other words, I'm willing to make $72,000 instead of $80,000 by giving somebody $8,000 if they bring me a fully baked cake. Give me a thumbs up or let me know in the chat if that makes sense as well. So now that you have the math in mind, now you understand the rationale and the reasoning, then your job is to find the deal, and your job is to show the investor how they need to close the deal. So the first thing you're going to do is have somebody on your team we call a market selection manager, followed by an investor-friendly realtor. I love realtors. They're not all the right people. Number 3, you need a funding source. In this case, it's going to be an investor. They have the money, you have the deal. And lastly, you're going to have a real estate attorney that's going to write up all the paperwork, including the agreement that gets you paid. Now, there are 3 strategies that we can use. Number 1, facilitate the transaction for other investors. Number 1 is we identify qualified investors. How difficult is that? Not at all. But you're basically looking for people that would like to buy properties with whatever rate of return that they're looking for. You might reach out to, you might go to a networking meeting and you might say, hey, I have access to amazing deals. What kind of rates of return? What kind of areas are you looking for? And then your job is to go identify those needs and then find the properties that match them. Folks, all too often, people go and do this the wrong way. They start backwards. What do I mean by starting backwards? They go find a deal and then they look for a buyer. That's ridiculous. Why not find the buyer first who will actually tell you what they're looking for? Then you go find the deal that matches them. Then your role is to simply communicate the deals to these investors and simply invoice them for your services. You're basically facilitating the process from start to finish. And folks, that's where I started. If we look at the picture on the lower right, we're going to see George, my investor-friendly realtor. You're going to see Joe, who's the investor themselves, and a thinner version, younger version of me for sure. The whole thing is that we have the investor buyer, we have the person that's actually done the real heavy lifting, which is the realtor, and we have somebody like you, in this case it was me, which is where I got started. And all these different examples here on the upper left-hand side, you're going to see a woman that runs a day spa. In the middle, you're going to see a gentleman that's a cosmetic dentist. At the bottom left, you're going to see a woman that runs a cosmetic surgery business. And oh boy, is it a business. And the 2 above that, you're going to actually see a vice president of one of our biggest banks in Canada reaching out to me, or in this case, maybe you, to help them find and identify opportunities.
Hey, Stephen.
Yes.
You want to move your slides along so we can follow suit?
Oh, guess what? My slides were moving along.
Not for
Were they
us. Not for
Not
us.
for you.
In the chat here, everyone can't see. It's still on 3 tactics to create quick cash.
Wow. Okay, hang on.
And everyone wants to see this handsome picture. Yeah, there we go. Now you're moving. I see Ronnie.
Okay, I don't know who paused me, but I got so excited, Scott. Honestly, I get wound up at all this stuff, right?
I was like, I didn't want to slow you down because
no.
There you are. That's the
right.
That's the one you were talking about. Go back. Everyone wants to see pictures.
All right. Okay. So thank you.
Buddy.
Hey, you just call me out anytime.
I'll just wait for my turn. I'm just waiting for my turn.
I know, but I get excited and then somebody hit pause and I don't know what happened. All right. Thankfully, I don't make money just by doing that. That's not my area of expertise, but thanks for jumping in and getting everybody rolling. All right. So let me recap real quickly for you. So did everybody see the numbers? That's what's most important. Did you see the numbers? If you didn't see the numbers, I'm just going to recap them for you very quickly. If the original sale price is $270, the repair cost is $40, the closing and holding costs are $10, you're all in for $320. If you're all in 320 and you run the local comparable sales and determine that the future value of this property should sell for 400, you've got an $80,000 anticipated profit, which we all agreed would be pretty amazing when you figure that that's only if you did it once a year as compared to twice, 3 times, 4 times. We also agreed that taking a small portion of that 80,000 would be reasonable for those investors that don't have to do any of the heavy lifting. They're just literally looking at a deal that you brought to them. And in order for you to put everything together, your side of the equation is to find a market selection manager in a market that you want to be working in, somebody that can help you pick the right deal for the right folks. Number 2 is the investor-friendly realtor. Number 3 is the funding source, which in this case is going to be the investor. And number 4 is going to be the real estate attorney who's going to do all the paperwork. See, all you are is the coordinator of things. You're not the doer of everything. When you build the right team, you're going to see how powerful that is. So when we're facilitating for other investors, our job is to identify the qualified investor, figure out what they're looking for, use our local team that we built, and communicate the deals that our team brings to us, and then simply invoice for the services that you put forward. And so I was also sharing with you that as you facilitate that process, these are the first deals when I got started. And I was mentioning on the lower right-hand side, the taller, bald-headed gentleman on the right. That's Joe. Joe is my investor-friendly realtor. George is the gentleman between myself and Joe. And then you've got myself as the facilitator. I was mentioning in the upper left-hand corner, my client, if you will, was somebody that is running a day spa. And my local team manager is the gentleman bending over opening the lockbox. Just before that on the left, we've got a couple, one of which is a senior vice president of one of our large banks in Canada. We've got a retired couple below them. And then below that, we've got a gal from Montreal who happens to be running a cosmetic surgery business. We've got a cosmetic dentist one frame over. We got a single mom that happens to have revenue or money to be able to invest. We're facilitating deals for other people. I want to introduce you to Ronnie for a moment. Ronnie started off as a contractor building homes for other people. Imagine how frustrating it is to actually see other people making millions, and you're the one that actually is sweating more than they are. Ronnie decided to change that. He decided, not unlike you're sitting here now, to move that into a different realm where he gets the one making the money and other people can put in the sweat this time. And you can see some of his results. RSA, by the way, stands for Retirement Savings Account. Would any of you enjoy a 20 to 22% return on your retirement savings accounts consistently? Now, as Michael said before, these stories are not ordinary, but quite frankly, I don't think you're ordinary either. And yes, it's well said that when people are left to their own devices, all sorts of things could happen. But if you were able to go out there and make a flip and knock out 60 grand in your first flip profit, I think you'd be pretty happy as well. And keep in mind, of the things that make people the happiest are usually spending time with family, not necessarily swinging a hammer. The second strategy is flipping the property to an investor. This is when a property has a lot of money to be made in it, and you really don't want to show the investor how much money. You would rather actually buy the property, and then you'd like to flip the property immediately to an investor for a much greater profit picture than you would just the other way as a facilitator. So we put the property under contract, which we normally do, and that's our contract. We control it. And then the investor does the due diligence because they're ultimately the person that's going to buy the property from us. And we arrange for the funding and close on the deal so that we can buy the property and sell the property, believe it or not, usually in the same day. And is there a way, Stephen, to avoid the risk of something happening to the person between the time that you close the deal and they close the deal? And the answer is yes. Another question that I often get is, where am I going to get the money? Does it shock any of you to learn, maybe for the first time, that there are lenders out there who specialize in deals when you have a buyer ready to buy and a seller ready to sell, that they will fund 100% of the purchase and closing costs? They will make a handsome rate of return, and those loans to you are usually non-recourse, which means if the deal falls apart, everybody just takes their money and goes home. And there's nothing bad happening to you. So in the workshop, of course, I go through a whole funding section on all the different type of funding sources. People just lose their minds and they think, oh, the only way I'm going to get money is through a bank. The last time I borrowed from a bank is I can't remember. Banks don't like me. Why? Well, because I don't show them that I have enough money. I have no equities in assets in my personal name. And boy, are you going to figure out why that's a good thing. Imagine living like a king or queen, but actually not having anything that somebody can sue you for or take away. Who cares how much money you get to tell people that you have when you can live the life that you want to live, which is, we refer to that as your lifestyle freedom day. So we're flipping the property to an investor and we're making a much bigger margin on this one. And that's your payday. You get paid on that day of closing with little to no risk. Let me introduce you to Sean. Sean was not unlike Michael and Scott. If you know Michael and Scott's origin story, you would think that I'm talking about the Avengers at this point. Well, sometimes they are the real estate Avengers. Well, Sean was renting out a room as a college rental and he didn't know what to do. And he was scared about, the responsibilities. So he decided to get trained. And today I'm excited to share with you that he has over 300 storage units in 3 separate projects. I'm sure some of you love the idea of storage instead of rental. Why? Because you don't have to deal with any landlording issues. Unless you're going to buy all your properties in Alberta, people in Ontario, people in BC, people in Quebec, I mean, we all understand what it's like to deal with the Landlord-Tenant Act. We also know that when somebody rents a storage unit, there is no Landlord-Tenant Act. So if you like the idea of having rental income without tenant headaches, that's one of those things for you. Now, he's also done multiple rentals and he's done many active fix and flips. He now does land development and new construction, lending and private mortgage notes. And this is where everybody ends up going. Eventually, everybody continues to grow. And the last of the 3 tactics that I want to share with you today is flipping the contract to an investor for a fee. This is the best place for many people to get started that literally are starting with no money. Now, you don't know me and I don't know you, but I'll say this. When I started with $100,000. How many of you are starting with $100,000? I had 100 grand. Anybody else starting with 100 grand or more? Anybody starting with more than 100 grand? Going once, going twice? Some of you, Wendy, good for you. Excellent. Now, let me be clear. Okay, so Erica says I started with 20 grand. Okay, you see, I didn't finish the sentence. You ready? Listen carefully. I started with over $100,000 in debt. That's right. I was negative 100 grand when I started. I wasn't working. I was 3 years out of my own company that I sold my shares, trying to reinvent myself and failing. And then I learned this stuff. Totally changed the direction of my life. And I can't believe that I get to teach this to people today. So let me share this last one with you right now. And this is especially for anybody that thinks you need money to do this. No, you don't. You need somebody's. It doesn't need to be yours. But watch this. This is where you find or create. One thing about Keyspire. We not only teach you how to find properties. That's pretty straightforward. We teach you how to create properties out of thin air. Why? Because when you create a property, there's no competition. We put that property under contract. Once we have that property under contract, we simply sell the contract, not the property, to an investor for a fee. Sometimes that's known as a novation agreement or an assignment of contract agreement. But however you want to think about it, I'm going to show it to you visually because the investor simply does their due diligence and makes a decision. If they take over the contract from you, you have no other issues. So it's pretty amazing because you get paid on closing whatever you sold that contract for. So you found a deal. You put it under contract. You have an investor. The investor says, I like the deal. You are now going to shake on it and say, I like the deal. And now you are simply going to exchange the contract for some form of consideration. We're going to call that $5,000, 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever number it is. And off you go. You are no longer in the deal. Bye-bye. Now the investor who just bought the contract from you, they have to perform the same way that you put the property under contract. And they are the ones that are now going to renovate the property. They're the ones that are now going to either sell it or rent it out. And you're off to go doing another deal. You know, people who do this strategy, I met a gentleman. Now, this isn't, again, normal, but I met a gentleman who does 30 to 40 of these a month because he's not the one actually doing the investment. He's the one finding the opportunity. I know a gal that's doing this, and she's maybe not lighting the world on fire, but she's probably doing 5 of these a month. So it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. I want to introduce you briefly to Ryan, good friend of mine, but also a serial entrepreneur. He has done so many crazy things with flips, even without using his own money. I want to just share this one that you see in the picture. He's done a bunch of new builds. He's done a whole bunch of other properties. He loves working in the world of estate sales and helping out families whose some loved one has passed away. But he negotiated $100,000 off an estate sale price, knocking an $899,000 property down to $799,000. He had a rehab cost of $600,000, which, oh my God, Stephen, that sounds outrageous. But if you do the math, 800 and 600 is 1.4 million. And the after repair value was 1.7 million. So his anticipated profit was over $300,000, not using a penny of his own money. He did it through assignments and private lending and capital raises, and he's even done a joint venture on a $10 million flip. Now, one of the things I should share with you about the 3 people I just mentioned, you've got Ronnie, and you've got Sean, and you've got Ryan. They also have been so successful in doing this and simply taking what they learned and applying it, that today they are strategists in addition to being investors. And for those of you that are interested in taking advantage of the workshop, which Scott's going to be up here in just a moment to talk to you about as well, just know that they started where every one of us started, and they have gotten to where everybody wants to get. Awesome people to talk to about the opportunity of investing in real estate. Now, I wouldn't be a good trainer if I didn't tell you there's a downside. The downside is, folks, when you flip properties, you pay higher taxes. You have inconsistent income, although you could flip a property for more money than most people make in a year. It just depends on what you want to do. And the local rules do change from time to time, and we can stay ahead of that. To me, the most important one is I pay higher taxes I'd rather not pay. But quite frankly, I'd rather pay $1 million in taxes this year, knowing that I made $2 or $3 million. But just keep that in mind. But the big advantage is, number one, you know, my daughter went to school in the States, and I won't tell you what her annual tuition is, but she had to complete 4 years in Boston before she was able to earn a penny. This is a tiny, but I mean minuscule, irrelevant investment, although it's the most powerful investment many of you are going to make. But you get to learn as you earn. You get to generate cash quickly. Now, this is not get rich quick. This is get richer quicker with a path and a plan and everything that you need to be successful. And you do not need your own credit or your own capital for purchases and rehabs, which is equally powerful throughout all of this. So let me recap. 3 tactics to create quick cash between now and the end of the year, which, by the way, is a great opportunity because everybody else is sleeping, and well into 2026 with the greatest opportunities that I've seen while everybody is afraid. Number one, facilitate a transaction for investors. Number two, flip the property to an investor. And number three, flip the contract to an investor. And just remember that we generate quick cash, so ultimately we can buy and hold property. I think that's the most important takeaway. We want to be able to invest long term. So we flip so we can hold. Folks, I wish I had more time with you. I'm going to hand things back over to Michael. I just would love to make you an invitation. I would love to see you at one of our upcoming workshops. I know that we do have a new workshop date. I'd love to see you there. And if you've enjoyed what I've shared with you today, just know this. In the workshop, we get to slow it down. There's a learning guide, all of the above. But I hope that you've enjoyed it. Let me know. Give me some feedback in the chat. Michael, back over to you.
Thank you, Stephen. That was excellent. And I just want to underscore the message of, we generate quick cash to create wealth. And I like to say it is we buy and sell so that we can buy and hold. And I know that I'm not a flipping. Flipping isn't my main strategy, whether it's, the strategies you're showing us, but sometimes you have to do that to generate that cash to build that wealth. And so anyone who's here needs to generate that cash. That's why Stephen wanted to teach this to you right now. At the workshop, we're going to learn how we can take that cash and protect it and grow it so that that cash turns into something much bigger and more meaningful in the future. So that's the, the path. And let's go down that path. So thank you, Stephen. Let's now take this cash that we've just learned to create, and now let's put it into the $1 million plan. How do you take a few $1,000s? Thank you, Stephen. Stephen will still be here in the chat. And by the way, we're seeing all of your questions. We just don't have time on a 60 to 90 minute. That's why we create the 3-day workshop. The team is in the chat. We're answering questions. Stephen doesn't ask me anything on Sunday morning where he just gets on and you just chat. You just ask him any of these questions and he will answer them all and talk you through your personal situation. So that's why we have that personal attention at the workshop, to take everyone here who's curious and bring all the serious people into our ecosystem. And so, Scott, you're up, buddy. Let me introduce you. Let me introduce you formally, okay? Let me do this. I practiced this. I wrote something down. Welcome, Scott McGillivray, partner of Michael Sarracini, apprentice of Michael Sarracini. So Scott, I've been doing business for 25 years, real estate investing. And what I gotta say about Scott is, if you guys don't know Scott is the world authority on income properties. And you see him on TV and you can see about what he's doing. He's not just one of these, he's not like a game show host where he just talks and does things. He is in there with the hammer, with the pen, with the strategy, with the calculator. I looked it up, and Scott has the longest running. Scott, you have the longest running real estate investing shows on television. You have more real estate investing shows on television than anybody in history. I looked over the last 500 years of television shows, and you have more real estate investing shows than anybody. So that is Scott McGillivray, everybody, the most in history. I didn't go back past 500 though.
Yeah. Well, that's the good. I mean, it's only my 499th birthday this year, so I
perfect.
Hold that record.
Scott, can you teach us the $1 million plan? But also, just before you do $1 million plan, people are asking about the workshop. It's getting to time here. Can you show people how they can enroll in the workshop and how they can enroll in the workshop? Let's show people how they can get in, and then we're going to get into the $1 million plan. And I'm sure everyone, you're getting good value. Let's stay another 15 minutes or so that we can get into the $1 million plan. Is that cool, Scott?
Yeah, the coolest. As soon as you stop talking, I will start teaching. There it is. My favorite part. Thanks everybody. There's a lot going on here, and I know we're running a little bit late. And I'm going to continue to make sure that I deliver on all the training that we promised for today. This is the test drive. This is a sample of what we teach you in our workshop. But in respecting everybody's time, I'm going to kind of do my presentation slightly backwards today. I'm going to share with you. Bypass this. Okay, let's see if I can share here. Oopsies. I don't think that worked. Let me try that again. So here we go. I want to. All right. I'm going to start talking and then I'm going to share. So what I am going to be teaching you today is the $1 million plan. The $1 million plan is something that I have been teaching people for almost 20 years now. You've seen me do the TV shows. I've been doing these for, oh, I've been doing TV shows for almost 20 years. I've been a real estate investor for 21 years. And I think that, behind the scenes is my goal is to be able to teach people behind what we do behind the scenes as much as what we do on the screen. So you see us help investors pick up properties, turn them into income properties, turn them into vacation rentals, all of that. But what's happening off screen is probably even more important. So today is pulling back the curtain to show you the strategies that we're using. And I think Michael and Stephen have done a really great job giving you a quick peek at what it is that we teach over 3 days. But the fundamentals of it all, what I really believe is the most important part, is the $1 million plan. So the $1 million plan, I will run you through, looks something like this. What it is it is a plan. We talk about you buy and sell to buy and hold. It is the buy and hold strategy, but I'm going to break it down into its four principal parts so that you have a high level understanding of what the long-term strategy is to be able to create wealth. Because creating a little bit of income or creating lightning in a bottle or a one-off opportunity, those are nice. But what would be great is to be able to build a real strategy that can help support your retirement, help support all your financial goals, whether they be small, big, or anything in between. So this is what I am going to be teaching you. But as I said, in respect of time, I'm going to do it a little bit backwards. And I've been watching the chat, been listening and seeing what you guys are saying. I know that a lot of people were trying to keep up with Steven's slides, and I get that. And we even missed a couple, but don't worry. At the workshop, you get everything slowed down at 50%. But 3 full days of training there. And it takes some time to get it all in. But the real question you have to ask yourself, are there things that I'm hearing today that are sparking some interest, that are helping me go from being a curious investor to a serious investor? I think that's important. Like how seriously are you willing to take this? Because there's work involved. Absolutely. This doesn't happen by accident. And Keyspire, we really pride ourselves on this system where we take folks from, this curious, finding out information, testing the waters like where you are today, to educating you and training you and setting you up with the right team around you so that you can start implementing these strategies. It's nice to learn them, it's nice to see them, but the absolute best part is when you get to experience them yourself. And I remember how hard it was when I was getting started 24 years ago as a young real estate investor to find the right resources, to find people that could help me navigate this space was next to impossible. And it's really that need for education and support in this space that drove Michael and I to create Keyspire and to recruit people like Stephen and the other folks that you'll meet when you come to our events. So what happens at a Keyspire workshop event? A lot of people want to know. We do 3 full days of training. We do it virtually so that you can continue to learn right from where you are, sitting in your seat at home. It is fully live like we are today. So sometimes there are a few glitches, but we do get through everything. We answer all your questions. We have strategists. We do real life examples. We kind of take things from coast to coast so that you can see a variety of options. What's great about living in this country is that you can invest anywhere in this country and you can invest south of the border as well, if you would like. What is covered in this training? Gene is asking, are you live now? Yes, we are live now, and we're running a little late, so I'm going to keep going. We cover basically everything you heard from Stephen, everything you heard from Michael, what I'm going to be training you in a moment. the different ways to access capital so that you are being as strategic as possible. Some people use their own capital. That's totally respectable. Some people want to leverage all of the opportunities that are out there, and there's really no other business model in the landscape of Canada or the United States that is more leverageable than the real estate space. And then applying the four ways to win, which is what I'm going to be showing you in 5 minutes from now. I'm sorry if you guys are running out of time. That's why I'm showing you the workshop first, but I'm going to show you the four ways to win. This is the foundation of your strategy. This is what is the differentiator between you and the average investor. This is what makes you the sophisticated investor. So very important to understand, and I'm going to give you the brief, but right to the point version of how that works. And a plan. You need an implementation plan. 12 months, what are you going to do over the next 12 months to make sure that you are achieving your goals? Who is going to hold you accountable? And I noticed that many of you in the chat were coming from different places when Stephen asked who's got money to get started, who doesn't have money. And I think that that's, not everyone fits into the perfect box of, you start with step one and then you move forward. That starting point is slightly different depending on what stage of your life you're in, depending on what you're going through, depending on what type of career you have or career you may not have. Are you already in retirement? Are you just starting your career? So I think that understanding how to customize your plan so that over the next 12 months you can implement it is absolutely critical. Let me keep you going here. So my goal and our goal is that after 3 days of training, you will have a full 12-month plan. We are so confident in this is that we will provide a money back guarantee that if on Sunday you are not set up with your 12-month plan, then we will give you your money back. We provide a personal one-on-one strategist because, as I said, not everybody is starting at the same point. So we have to identify where you currently are and then find the quickest and simplest path to success and the fastest way for you to start implementing your strategy. Even before the event starts, we do it. There's another event between this and the 3-day workshop called our pre-event meetup. This is a great place for you to meet the team, meet the strategists, get yourself prepared. We get all the housekeeping stuff out of the way so that when we do our 3-day meetup, we do our 3-day workshop, you hit the ground running. I don't know why people keep asking if I'm live right now. Yes, we are live right now. Tell me to hold up a certain number of fingers and I'll do it, Gene, if that'll make you happy. Here's our zero risk guarantee. We guarantee that by the end of day Sunday, you will walk away with a 12-month strategy plan. Boom. There you go. There's first one asked. 2 fingers. Done. So let me show you how this works. We're getting sidetracked a little bit with this live game, but I want to make sure that you see we've been doing these workshops now since 2009, 2010, so 15, 16 years. We used to run these workshops. They're $2,000. You can bring a friend. We added on the personal one-on-one strategy session because we saw a huge bump in success. The live pre-event meetup was something that people asked for, so we've baked that into our product. And we have our 100% money back guarantee, which really is priceless because, listen, you have nothing to lose. You can do all of this, and you are guaranteed to have your money back if you don't believe in the plan. And I'm not even going to, that's just adding it all up. We're $2,391. That is not what we are offering here. This is the test drive. We do a virtual workshop and the enrollment fee is $297. And when you if you go to our website, you can sign up for our workshop. But if you use our QR code here or the link in the chat, Madara, thank you for putting it in the chat. Madara just posted, join the workshop today. Click here. So if you're on your phone, you can click it. If you have a smartphone, you can open the camera app and you can wave it over that QR code, and it will also take you to the pre-populated, coupon coded version of our workshop, which actually isn't even $297. it's $197. So imagine this, 3 days, $197. That's less than $100 a day to get the best real estate training in this entire country. I feel slightly silly almost giving it away for $197, but we really believe that this is our opportunity to prove to you what is possible and that we are going to be on this journey with you together. And we want to remove any barriers to entry, any excuses that might have been holding you back, any reason why, if you're not having, if this isn't a great time for you financially, or the holidays are coming up, any of these things, $197 should allow everyone to enroll and take advantage of this opportunity. Get yourself set up. I get excited this time of year because you do the work now and you can start off 2026 ahead of everyone else because you already have a plan. And the best investment that you're going to make is in yourself. And that's what this is. This is an investment in yourself to learn strategies. This is an investment in yourself to be set up with a one-on-one strategist. Even that assessment alone is well worth it. And give yourself a 12-month plan. And then, we built the infrastructure to continue to help you. This isn't a one and done. We are an in-depth company that has been doing this. We've helped over 100,000 Canadians go through these systems and come up with plans. Someone's asking for the dates. Can someone put the date up in the chat for me, please? We have one workshop left before the holidays. So I am really hoping you can make it work. Again, you can do it from anywhere. There's really no excuse not to be able to invest some time in this. And if you need to miss a day, then I suggest you talk to the other financial decision maker in your home. Maybe it's your spouse or a friend or a coworker, anyone else who wants to do this with you. And you guys can sit down and do this together. I think that is the best way to do it. December 5th to December 7th. This is coming up in a few weeks. And the times, give Erica the times. There we go. Everything's coming up. When you go to if you use the QR code or you click on the workshop link to get yourself registered, you'll see the dates and times there, and you'll see the test drive offer at $197. It's all populated, ready for you to go. And I know 3 days can be a huge commitment, but think about the difference. People go to university for 4 years to learn about real estate and still don't necessarily come out with a plan. We have, as Michael told you earlier, we have taken the learnings of not only ourselves, but our investors to be able to fast track. It's like taking a paved highway to get somewhere versus trying to hike through the woods to get there. We prefer the paved highway path. And so this is what we're trying to offer you here, is the paved highway to real estate investing and understanding how it works. You can go to our website, you can read our reviews. I mean, you can see here, Karen said, do yourself a favor. If you haven't, go to the workshop. So eye-opening. Tammy, first day of the Keyspire workshop was today, Friday. One thing that stood out to me was that as important as education is, workshops, books, mentoring, etc., if it doesn't translate from head knowledge into action, it's useless. After all, you do or you do not. There is no try. That's right. We're an action-oriented organization. We like to measure ourselves based on results. So we like to see people come through these programs and start building themselves a profitable portfolio, no matter which direction no matter which starting point it takes to move in that direction. Just sharing this really quickly. I recently went to Disney with the family. Nice little updated pic. We love Disney. It's one of the best places, by the way. We spent 3 days there. I left a review because I think it's always important, a very positive review. And I noticed, I said, Disney World, wow, their slogan is the happiest place on earth. They have a 4.7 out of 5-star review on Google. We loved it. We go back all the time. We're a Disney family. And somebody pointed out to me a while ago, but I love to show this, is that our 3-day workshop has a 4.8 out of 5-star review. So people are having a better time than going to Disney coming to our workshop and learning about real estate. So if you're excited to go to a place like Disney World, then you can get even more excited about coming to the 3-day workshop because it is that game changing for people. I mean, coming out of this thing, And to be able to see everything different, you will never drive by a for sale sign the same way again. Warning you right now. You are going to have a problem after this. You are going to understand and investigate and look at real estate like you've never seen it before. It's a glorious thing if you love it. But it is, it is the thing that comes with this territory. um, I already do in the chat. So that being said, I'm going to put that QR code is there. I'm going to ask Madara to throw it back in the link because I have some training to do. And we're already 17 minutes over time. So I want to get back to the Keyspire $1 Million Plan. This is the most successful version of teaching a strategy that we have ever done. It is a graph showing your total net worth versus the years of investment. And I used to do this I used to say buying 3 rental properties within 2 years would put you on this path, this potential growth path. It was a chart that I actually populated on Excel back in like the early 2000s when I started investing in real estate. I started tracking it. I was talking to my accountants, trying to understand the difference between principal recapture and interest payments and equity and refinancing. So I started mapping this out, and I found it I've never seen anyone else do this to this day. Anyone who does do it, they just use my chart. So it's a big testament to how powerful this is. What you're looking at here is 4 of the primary ways in which wealth can be generated through a buy and hold portfolio. These are acquiring properties and keeping them over a period of time with tenants living in them. And, typically at the beginning, you don't necessarily see a lot of wealth. The average home value, if you do some light renovations and, the value of that property goes up 3% per year, which is typically the average, and you are paying down a 25-year mortgage at the average interest rate, and you are at market rents. Okay. So if you continue to do the average version, and remember, you doing this, you have all the influence in the world on how you perform. But the average individual on the average home appreciating at the average rate, you can see how in the first year, if you looked at that in isolation, you're like, okay, great. Like I made almost no cash flow. I paid down almost none of the mortgage. The appreciation went up a tiny bit. There's some active appreciation, but you had to work for it. You might have put $50,000 into the home to have its value go up by $80,000 or $90,000. So you've now gained $40,000 or $50,000 in profit. That you see me do this on the show all the time. We fix a place up, it's worth more than the purchase price plus the cost of improvements. And what gets interesting is that active appreciation doesn't grow over time, even though it is the highest portion of your profitability in year one. And this is why a lot of people flip properties because they're like, oh, look, I made all this money through active appreciation. But the biggest regret, people always ask, if you go back and do it again, what would you do differently? I wouldn't sell anything. I'd keep everything. I've probably sold 50% of all the properties that I bought. I probably should have kept 100% of them, or if I could have figured out how to keep 100% of them, because they're all worth more today than what I sold them for. Whether it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I thought I was a genius making 50, 60 grand flipping a property. Some of those homes have gone up by over $1 million since I've sold them. So I don't want you to make the same mistakes that other investors have already learned. Life's too short to learn from your own mistakes. You got to learn from someone else's. And our goal is to put you into a plan that generates cash flow, that generates appreciation and equity as it grows. And that happens when the market goes up in value, as your mortgage starts to get paid down more by the tenants. And as all that happens, your cash flow goes up as well because you date the rate at which you sign your mortgage, but you're married to the price. So if you buy a home for 500,000, or let's say for $1 million today, and the rents go up over 10 years, you still only paid $1 million. You still paid $1 million for the house. The purchase price doesn't change. So your profitability goes up over time because your purchase price is locked in at the date of purchase. Everything else typically can go up. Appreciation goes up. The rents typically go up. The mortgage goes down. So as you see, there are many different reasons, but these are the 4 primary reasons for you to consider doing a buy and hold strategy. Because if you look at over 10 years, a property, the average property goes up by can create almost $1 million in wealth over a 10-year period. That is significant. If done properly, that is super significant. And it's not out of reach, right? There's nothing that you have to do that is extraordinary, but there is work to be done. So that being said, I'm looking at the next 10 years. Let me go back. This is the past 10 years. If you're looking at the next 10 years, right, what does the future hold? Well, hopefully you have a plan that can help you project what you're going to do. If you were to acquire 3 properties in the next 2 years and just manage that portfolio based on today's real estate prices and the average growth rate of real estate, a portfolio of 3 properties could generate almost $2.1 million in wealth over 10 years. All right. Some of that is in cash flow. Some of that is in principal recapture. That's your equity being built up. Some of that is in passive appreciation. And some of that is in active appreciation. And you don't have to do all 4 of these. You can do 2 or 3 of these strategies, but I personally like to do all 4 to give myself the best chance of success. And as I said, this does take some work. It does take some support. We have the tools, we have the programs, we have different levels of support everywhere along the way. Some people come through the workshop and they want to get more involved, they want to do more things. That's absolutely an opportunity because we don't want to abandon anyone. And some people take the workshop, they hit the ground running, and they're off doing their thing, and that's all they needed. And it's really up to you. But the goal here is to make sure that that plan is in place so that instead of watching other people do well and wondering how other people are succeeding and you feel like you might be moving behind, you can be the point of reference that people are discussing. You can be the example of what's possible if you take action with your plans. And Michael, I wanted to invite you back here because I know you talked about the team building tool, you talked about a couple other tools, and I want to make sure that all the attendees have an opportunity to get access to these. So if you could help them get access to that. I'm going to put this
great.
one
Thank you,
more
Scott.
time. Yeah, the QR code is here for those of you who are ready to join the workshop and continue this conversation. I'm going to stop screen sharing, so the chat has been going nutty. I will let Madara throw the link in there again for those who are going to miss it as I change slides here.
Let's give out some free gifts. Let's give out our free gifts now. And then the team and I can stick around for a few minutes to answer some questions about the workshop. I see some questions are coming up. But I think the ultimate question, if there's time, can I not make Friday? Like, I get it. There's some logistical things, but from the big picture, 5 years from now, these questions that I'm seeing in the chat are not important. What's important is that you get started today. And I was telling Scott and Stephen today, I said, man, when I think of a workshop for me or a mastermind group, unless my kid's getting married, I'm not missing that. I am going to do that because that is important to my life. And so, all those questions in the chat, the short answer is it doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter. Just be there. If what you want is a 12-month roadmap and a path to wealth and to be happier and wealthier, you make a plan and be there. Now, there are the real answers are in the chat, but I wanted to mention that. Let's give away some free gifts. Number 1.
Hold on, Michael. I'm going to stop sharing, so you're going to have to start sharing. I can see that we've got several dozen folks have registered for this workshop.
Perfect.
Already. We've got a lot of people that are making the dates work. Okay. But I want to make sure that everybody gets access to the free gifts. So stopping sharing, over to you.
Let me share. All right, so free gift number 1, we are going to give away the Team Builder tool. So the way we're going to do that is we have a special link that's only available here to attendees that, Madara, can you put our link in the chat here for our Team Builder tool? And I'm going to pop my share back up so we can see it. Okay, there's our Team Builder tool. Now, what this Team Builder tool is, I'm going to go over this in a moment. Let's give away all our gifts. The second gift is the free strategy session. So Scott already talked about how you're going to get the free strategy session. You just enroll in the workshop and you get a free strategy session. Some of you have already booked your strategy session for tomorrow. Our strategists are here. They're standing by to help you. They're part of this Keyspire team to help you. So you can you could enroll in the workshop now for the $197 because that's the event price. And you can get your strategy session worth $297 tomorrow. Or you can wait tomorrow and pay $297 for your strategy session. That choice is yours, not mine. You know what I'm going to recommend is to do it tonight. But if I heard some questions like, what if I can't make Friday or Saturday? Do it. Either way, do it. Because if you can only make Friday, it's better than 0 days. If you can make 1 day, it's better than 0. If you can make 2 days, it's better than 1. And 3 days is better than nothing. And if you can't make any days, but you get the strategy session, that's going to have you better off than where you are today. So enroll in the workshop, get the strategy session while you try to figure out how to make the dates work. Either way, you want to make sure that you can move forward with something that works for you. So that's how you get the free strategy session, is to just enroll in the workshop. The team builder tool is here. The link is in here. And how do we get OPM? If you want other people's money and profitable partnerships, what we're going to do with this is we are going to offer this as an extra bonus for those of you that enroll tonight before this live stream is over. So we really reward action takers at Keyspire because we know that when you're out there in the real world, you need to be an action taker. You need to be a decision maker. So your training starts today. If you can't make a $197 decision today, within a minute, within a few minutes, if you don't see the value and you can't make that decision, then I can almost guarantee you're not going to be able to make the $50,000, the $60,000, the $70,000, the $300,000 decision when it comes out to the real estate market. So this is part of our filter. We are sorting you right now. Here's a peek behind the curtain. We're sorting you. If you can't make a decision, it's a lot harder to be successful in real estate. If you can make a decision, you're going to come to the workshop and you have a much higher chance of being successful. So which part of the filter are you going to be on? Are you going to make a decision tonight, to join the workshop? Or are you going to not be able to make that $200 decision? Now, look, if $200 is taking food off the table, do not do this, okay? This is not a matter of your last $200. Do not be part of this. Put the food on the table. But if you got the $200 and you're going to go spend it at dinner anyway sometime in the next couple months, come to the workshop, do it for yourself. And if you enroll by the end of the night, you are going to get this amazing special report that Scott and I wrote, OPM and Profitable Partnerships, walks you through all about the funding part of the roadmap. So those are our free gifts, and those are how we get them. Now, we've done this long enough. I know the FAQs. I know the questions you have. Here's number one. Do I need real estate experience to succeed? The answer is not at all. We've helped complete beginners build their systems by following the roadmap. Our system will meet you where you are at, whether that's starting fresh or scaling up. There's 3 main groups of people that we help through the investor lifestyle cycle. Number one is renter to homeowner. If you are renting right now and you want to own your home and you've got stable income and you've got manageable debt, we can help you get from being a renter to being a homeowner. We can show you how to do exactly what Scott and I did from going to being renters and homeowners, exactly what we did. If you're a homeowner and you don't see the path to retire when you're 55 or 65 or 70 or whenever, or 45, you don't see that path and you're still struggling, but you have 2 jobs, dual income, and you want to get that first investment property, that's the second group that we help in the life cycle. It's called homeowner to investor. And if you're already an investor, you've got a couple properties and you want to scale, you want to put the systems in place, you want to have the right things at the right time so that you earn more money with less time, that's called investor to business owner. That's the third group that we help. So whether you're absolutely not experienced or you have properties, the things that you are going to learn in this workshop are going to move you forward. And of course, that 12-month plan is going to be exactly what's going to bring you out of the workshop and really what's going to make it happen for you. I'm overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. This is one of the most common issues that people have. That's what our roadmap is for. That's why we've simplified over 10,000 workshops of data and 5,000 coaching years into a roadmap so you know what to follow step by step. How can this be offered at such a low price? What's the catch? What's the catch, guys? $197. This seems crazy. Well, this thing should be $5,000. We used to sell when we were in person for $2,000, and people absolutely loved it. But here's the catch. Here's the deal. There isn't a catch. We want you to experience the system at such a low barrier to entry that it would be silly for you not to come to the workshop. This is silly for you not to come to the workshop at $197. And we want you to see value in us. And then we want you to come back to us one day, either at the end of the workshop or 3 months or 6 months from now, and say, Keyspire, how else can you help me? Can I have a coach? Can I come to your investor summit? Are there other things that we can do with you? And we know as a company, the best way that we can grow and we can attract the right people is to show you value. So we do free things like this. We show you value. We're going to offer $5,000 of value for $197 because at the end of it, you're going to say, wow, when I'm ready, I know Keyspire are the people for us. So that's why we do it. There's no catch. We're just demonstrating value so that you can work long-term with us, because that's what we want, is a long-term relationship. There are no real estate opportunities where I live. How can I invest? So it's a common myth that you have to invest where you live. And although that's a very powerful strategy, but it's not the only strategy. With the right system, you find profitable deals in any market, and even remotely. So you can invest where returns are best anywhere in the country. We'll show you how our community identifies and manages properties nationwide. So you're going to learn that, and you can apply this 5-part results roadmap to any market around Canada or the US, depending on what type of returns and what type of properties you are looking for. Is this going to be just another sales pitch? We get that question a lot, so let's talk about it. Absolutely not. The session is packed with real actionable strategies you can use right away. At the end, we're going to show you the options, because everyone asks for them anyway. Like, what are your coaching bundles? How does coaching work? How does your investor summit work? What are your other events that you do? You are going to ask, so we'll show you. And if you want to work with our team, great. And if you don't want to work with our team, or you've had enough, you're going to have your results roadmap that you can take with you. So that's how the event works. If you don't have any properties, is it really for me? Some people say, I should wait until I buy a property and then I should come. Do not do that. I can't believe how many people have come to us and said, I wish I came to Keyspire before I bought this property, because I would have done it much differently. And I guarantee you would have done it much differently, because it's a system, right? You're going to follow exactly what works. So if you don't have any properties yet, that's actually fantastic, because we can start you out right, and you can buy that first property properly. But either way, whether you have 1 or 10 properties, you're going to learn the same 5-step roadmap across the board, because it is the same. It's just a different scale that you're working at. And our strategists and our coaches work with you at different scales. And what if it doesn't work for me, Michael? Like, what if this just doesn't work? Well, you're fully protected. Guys, 100% money back guarantee. That's why we do that. We don't want to sell you something and then it doesn't work and you're unhappy. That is not a path to success for Scott and I and this team that works so hard for you. So if you don't like it, you don't have a roadmap, you don't have a great experience, we'll give you all your money back. How does that sound? We'll give you all your money back. Imagine going out for dinner and the deal is, hey, eat the dinner. And if you don't like it, you don't pay for it. Like, this is, you don't pay for it if you don't like it. Guaranteed. So that's how it works for us here. And we just want you to be happy. We want you to be successful. So we went over the things that were in the workshop. I'm going to check the chat now. I'm going to put this up here so you can check the available dates. I believe we're only going to have one more date for the rest of this year because these are rare workshops. We can't put them on all the time. The team is busy investing in real estate. So we put these on once in a while. There's only one more this year. So I want you to get into that date. I'm going to see if there's any more questions here. Erica's already enrolled but couldn't make it. Yeah, Erica, if you've already paid but haven't made it, let's get you in. Madara will help you. Reach out to Madara tomorrow. Contact at Keyspire. There she is. She's answering right before me. Live in Montreal. Yeah, you're good. Montreal. Steven's in Montreal. You just heard from him. He does that. This works everywhere. This works everywhere. I have cash, but I'm 59 and I want money sooner than 10 years. Yeah, so Edmund, that's where your strategy session comes in. So Edmund says, this is a great scenario. 59, I want money sooner than 10 years. So the strategist, Edmund, is going to walk you through, and we have some prep questions that we'll ask you to maximize your time. But we're going to find out your investor profile. What is it that you want to do? Are you active? Are you passive? Are you blended in somewhere in between? And what does that mean for you personally? So this is the process that we bring all of our clients through, and this is what we're going to bring you through. So while I can't just answer that right now, what I can tell you is there's a path for almost everybody. And if there isn't a path for you, or put a little bit differently, if you're not interested in the path after you learn what it takes, then no big deal. You don't do it, right? You don't do it. But we are here to help you build that path. I only see the dates of the workshop. Where do I see the times? The times are going to be 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time every day. So that's what it is. On Sunday morning, Stephen does a bonus Ask Me Anything session. And so that's really exciting. And you'll have breakouts and one-on-ones during the event. You have little group breakouts. You'll have one-on-one breakouts with your strategist so they can check in, make sure you're getting comprehension, make sure you're moving forward. So it's really well designed to make sure that you are continuing to move forward. So I think that's all the questions here. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. Don took the course. Yeah, he said Don took the course. He said, this was great. Just wasn't the right timing in my life, but Ryan and Stephen were great. And that can happen. That happens. It's fine. Take the course. And if it's the right time to really go forward in real estate, you'll know by Sunday night. And if it's not, well, it's better you know than you don't know. And we're going to be here to show you, to help you understand and make that decision. So there we are. I am going to hop off now. Thank you for those of you that have stuck around. I hope you got value tonight. We really work hard to get you this value, to give you these nuggets. It's really challenging to get as much as possible in about 60 minutes, but I hope we did it for you. So give us a little bit of feedback. How was tonight? On a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being, Michael, you guys completely wasted my time and I hate you, to 10 being like, look, this was a great hour and a half. I'm really happy I spent this hour and a half. It was a worthwhile use of my time. Give us some feedback so the team and I know how we're doing, how we can improve for you in the future. We're going to be doing these lives often and always for you. So let us know how we did, and we'll keep working for you. That's what we're here for. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Scott and Stephen for spending the night. Thank you for the team to being here into the evening, into this nighttime for us. We really look forward to it, and I look forward to seeing those of you at the workshop. I will be there Friday morning to kick it off. Scott will be there on Sunday, and Stephen and the team are going to be there all weekend. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.